All right, let's talk about a meme topic, but I have a kind of an interesting take on all this, and that is Linux elitism. Okay, so I think there are different. I mean, that's a real thing, right? But I think there are different types of Linux elitism, right? And I think some of it is very justified, right? It's sort of a philosophical question, right? Because, like, I mean, obviously, it's good to be humble. I believe it is good to be humble, right? But to know that you're better than someone else, it doesn't make it wrong to then express that you happen to be superior, right? And I think only in a very strange world that we're living in today that's obsessed with equality, right? Would people take such umbrage with elitism, right? So the thing is, like, I think there's, if by elitism you mean like hyper gatekeeping, right, to the point of not wanting people to use Linux because they don't fit into like Xbox, Y box, Z box, yes, that's bad. It's silly, and it's contrary, I think, to the vision of Linux, right? A vision of free software. And that is common, right? People mocking people for struggling with new stuff, right? And not, perhaps not stuff that like is easily Googleable. Although almost everything is easily Googleable. And yeah, I'm using that as a word now. But if by elitism you mean thinking that Linux is better, right? And that people shouldn't use non-free software, right? Well, then consider me guilty. And in fact, I would find it bizarre, and I know that these type of people exist, but I find it bizarre that there are so many people who use Linux who don't really have a strong stance against non-free software, right? The thing is like it's a question of ethics, right? So like, which one is better? The one that respects the rights of its users, or the one that doesn't respect the rights of its users, right? So it's almost a non-starter, because why would you ever use something that doesn't respect your rights, right? So it's like, if you're asking me, so I think this idea that like me as a Linux user, I should sort of be like, hey, I like Linux and it's good for me, but if you want to use Windows or you want to use Mac, I think that's a perfectly good decision. No, I think it's a terrible decision. Now, look, like for work, my last job, I did have to use Windows, okay? So I do get it. I think there are certain scenarios where I'm saying, if you're voluntarily like, you know what? I'm just going to use Windows. No, I think it's a bad decision, because I think it's a worse operating system, right? Because of the question of ethics, right? Because that really being a non-starter for like whether you should or shouldn't use a distribution, or sorry, an operating system. Anyway, that's about all I got. Let me know what you think.